Oh, I'll
So,
I'll get into
yeah.
this, but my mom was talking about the podcast, and I'll mention that
Aw.
in a little bit. But speaking of cold opens, she goes,
Mm.
"Did Rachel ever bedazzle their mic?" And I was like, "No, that hasn't happened yet." But we got. Oh shit!
Happened.
It's happened.
It's
That's great.
happened.
That's
I bedazzled
perfect.
the mic.
My mom will be happy to hear that.
Yay!
Episode fucking 6 of
6.
bedazzling cold opens.
The motion picture you're about to see does not concern itself with the social or civil rights of American citizens or with the economic or social problems of American cities. It was produced to warn citizens of the nature of a revolutionary force affiliating itself openly with aims of international communism, and now active throughout our nation in a planned offensive to destroy the American system and seize control of the United States.
This is good.
I forgot. Like, I'm going to do it, and then I wouldn't remember until, like, 2 minutes before we would start recording.
Yeah.
And, then that's no time for me to get out my sticker pack and, start bedazzling and, putting stickers on everything.
I mean, every week it's getting better, the improvement of yours.
Yeah,
Yours is getting more aesthetically nice. That's great. And I just have a windscreen on mine because I'm like audio, and my audio
don't-
sounds shit right now. So.
I don't hear your AC unit anymore.
Oh,
or
that's
any, like,
good.
your Windows stuff. But
That's
I was never
good.
gonna like complain about that because like life. But since
Yeah,
we're
but I was.
audio,
We're an audio first podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, switch off, but don't.
that's crazy. I don't get how people watch podcasts on YouTube. All the respect, but
I get it if it's like a visually appealing podcast, but respect to both of us. This is not the background isn't that nice,
it'll get
Because
better.
we look beautiful, but yeah, we'll have a set. We'll be in person.
Yeah,
It'll be great.
I'll bring Snoopy.
We'll bring Snoopy, and by
Snoopy
set
for
I mean
president.
we'll be at my table
Yeah.
over there. So that's gonna be the set, but it's gonna look a hell of a lot better. That'll be fun. But you're coming to New York soon.
I
You're gonna be
am. I
back.
leave next weekend.
That's huge.
Yeah,
I still don't know
I'm
when school
excited.
starts.
Good question. I don't either.
That's fine.
Because they did move in so weird, and I'm moving in a day early. I'm moving in on the. I'm not gonna say that because that's doxing. Ooh.
Say it. And what's the address again?
Oh, it's actually. Fuck. What is it? No,
Yep.
we're
Oh.
not talking. No. But I move in a little bit over a week, a few
Mhm.
days early. They stretched it out to 3 days. So
Oh.
like the first half of or at least the dorms that I'm in, move in like one day and then everyone comes the next day. I think freshmen. I don't know when the freshmen are, but I don't care because I'm not working moving again. I did that shit last year. Never again.
I could never imagine working
No.
for the college.
Okay, I enjoyed the friends I made. I
That's
liked
good.
talking to my friends.
Mhm.
Actual move-in day was kind of fun, but orientation and running orientation sucked.
Yeah.
That was the worst. And we should have been paid, or at least compensated with some better food.
We have the best food in the world. I read an article. I'm pretty
Right.
sure we were number one. We were number
We're
one
num-
in something for food.
Probably the worst food at a campus.
That could be that could be the type. I only read the first half of the headline because
Right.
of ADHD. So, but yeah, working for move-in or orientation does not seem fun. And
The worst bit is parents. It's like there's a way to do it that
Mhm.
they always come in with a plan and they have the same plan, but then someone's mom comes in and like screws it up.
it's
Like,
always
in the freshman dorms, there's the 2 sets of elevators, so there's just 4. There's 4 elevators total.
Mhm.
One is supposed to be up elevators, only going up, right?
Mhm.
And the other one is down, only going down. Someone's mom will go to the down elevator and click up.
respect. You gotta respect it at some point because there's level. Like if that was just, I would almost be more annoyed if they did it on accident. If they
Yeah.
if they had this confident look about them, and they
Mhm.
knew what they were doing is wrong, and they
Mhm.
just clicked it and didn't give a frick. Watch my language now. I would be. I'd respect that a lot more. Our friend is working. Not moving, is an
Yes.
RA or whatever.
Well,
We
no,
have
they
a couple
help with
friends.
move-in. They do it a little differently. RAs, it's a very similar. They do very similar things. They help move people in. The RAs have more specific tasks. I don't really know. But
Yeah.
we're essentially all doing the same thing, which is get you into the building.
Which is interesting because if I was working, I would try and get people to leave the building because in my mind there's too many people.
Mm-hmm.
I remember freshman year, I was like, there's too many people. We were in a hallway. It was not pleasurable. I was hot. I was sweaty. There were people that I would later see in classes. I didn't enjoy it.
That
but-
line was crazy, and it never doesn't get better. Move-in actually at like my dorms is so much better because it's like maybe 5 people outside at a time,
Mhm.
and it's so calm. But on the other side, it's just chaos.
Yeah, and they're also like for at least the freshmen move-in, not like the RAs and the kids working, but like the staff there and administration is like trying to create kind of like content for their social media and shit. And
Mhm. Content
there
brain
is
goes
this
crazy.
the content brain is I don't want to. You can't respect it because it's annoying. But some people are really into that. And when I was moving in, there was this family in front, and like it was like the mom's friend or something, and she like broke her leg, or maybe it was the mom, and she was in a wheelchair, and it was like, but I'm still coming and meeting my daughter and moving her in, and so the content brain administration was like, oh shit, we got to photograph this, we got to get their whole story. They were right in front of us, so. A couple of weeks ago, I was trying to scrub my online presence and stuff, and reverse photo lookups and all that. And I'm pretty clean, but I found out there is this one photo of me on the Fordham website, just in the background, look like shit. And it's because they're photographing this family, and I'm like, I don't want this. I'm on here and I can't remove it.
I need to find this photo.
I could send it to you after.
Can you send it to me?
Yeah.
I need to see this shit.
And it's like, it's not even like I'm in the way back or whatever. Like I'm pretty I'm like, there was a 3-person family. I'm like the 4th person. I'm like a foot away from them. And it's annoying. And I wish they used AI to crop me out. That's the one use of AI I will respect, is leaving me out of promotional materials.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How are you otherwise? What's going on?
Well, I was gonna say this week I was a little birthday boy. I don't know if you know.
Happy birthday!
Oh, thank you. You're just finding out for the first time.
I just discovered this today.
Yeah, you just discovered it. They definitely didn't wish me happy birthday. It was great. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
But before my birthday, this is a story or an observation that nobody is going to care about. But I need to talk about this movie I saw with our friend Ephraim, co-host of the the Jews with No Money podcast, which many are saying is our sister podcast, and by many people I mean me, because I saw that a couple episodes of theirs were doing well, and I want the clout. More than a friend, Ephraim is a strategic opportunity for me to gain clout for this podcast, and I would say that to his face. I love him. He's been in my home. He's met my parents, but rent is due, okay? I need the money. But anyway, we went and saw this movie, and I haven't seen M. Night Shyamalan. Don't know his name.
Oh, did you see Borderlands? Keep
That's
going.
a movie? No, I saw Trap. What is Borderlands?
Never mind. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so this story is even less interesting because everyone I've talked to about it is like, what the fuck is that? What's that movie? So yeah, we saw this movie, and I was going to look up how to say his name before the podcast, but my level of effort is not going to take me there. So M. Night something.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie was a psychological thriller type thing. And usually I don't do well with those. I've never seen one in theaters. I don't fuck with them. I don't like scary shit. This was the funniest movie I think I've ever seen. It wasn't scary. It was really good. And apparently maybe it was intentional. I don't know this director's work. I also confused him with Michael Bay, the explosions guy.
Was this
Yeah.
the one? Sorry, I googled it because it sounded
Yeah.
familiar, and I keep seeing it all over TikTok. It's the one with the concert.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I wanted to see that. I don't do well with thriller either, though.
I won't spoil it, but I will say the concert is a fucking scam. The movie is set up as if they're gonna be at the concert, and this dude's gonna go around, killing some people. They leave the concert really quickly. There's barely any concert. So
What the
already,
hell?
I'm joking, I'm laughing, but yeah, and there's this one scene where they show like a CCTV footage of this guy kidnapping someone, and I think it's supposed to be like a serious moment, and I like snort in the theater. I am laughing so hard. People are looking at me. It is, go see it. To listeners,
Okay.
to you, Rachel,
Yes.
you got to see it. Really it's a 2-star on Letterboxd with a heart. It is my favorite movie, and it is the worst movie. And I had a blast seeing it. And Ephraim apologized afterwards. He was like, "Sorry, I hoped you enjoyed it." I was like, "Don't apologize at all. This was the best time I've ever had." So everyone go see Trap.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Now I actually do have to go see that before the week is out. Damn.
It's really good. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you had seen Borderlands, which has like a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I just watched. I'm a very big Will Neff fan,
Shout
as
out
I think
Will.
only you know, and
Yep.
Peter, a very big Will Neff fan, and he like talked about it, and then was like, "Yeah, this is the worst fucking movie ever," and I was like, "Is it truly that bad?" Because I'm not spending money to see that. No.
Oh yeah. It was a great start to the birthday festivities.
Beautiful.
And then my parents came in town. We had a nice time. But I am going to use this portion of the podcast to say that my family is a bunch of snakes. I love them, but they're conniving people who
Oh no.
use me for my clout. No one mentioned the podcast. I didn't mention the podcast to anyone. I wanted to keep it under wraps. Apparently, it's been the talk of the town. Everyone knows I have a podcast. People are saying
No.
I swear a lot. They've never heard me swear. I don't swear. Stop listening to the podcast, but do keep listening to it. But put it on
It's
mute.
okay to swear.
It's okay to swear.
I have a little. I swear too much.
Some people are saying I use the F word as a filler. I don't fucking know. It's difficult for me to contextualize these feelings because I want the listens. I want the podcast listens. If you're watching on YouTube, get off YouTube. We'll keep playing it on YouTube on mute, and then listen to the audio streams because the audio is better. I'm sorry. There's more little tidbits in there. I have to cut out shit for YouTube because of copyright. It's great.
Your content brain is crazy. With respect.
We need the listens because we're doing great and we can do better. And this will be the top podcast. We're already, I think I looked at the charts, number 3. We can be number 1. We can beat Joe
Hell
Rogan.
yeah.
And we can only do that with the help of our loved ones. And if our loved ones are only watching on YouTube, that's not going to work. Get off YouTube, but stay on it. These are contradictory statements, but you need to listen to the podcast, is all I'm saying. Anyway, it was a great birthday. That's the end of the story.
Yay!
Yeah. I had a great birthday. How are you, Rachel?
I'm doing okay. I'm trying to catch up on doing things with people before I leave. So
So true.
I've been running out and about. I've been catching up on my reading. I love reading. I forgot I loved reading because I've only been reading like my textbooks. So slay.
What you reading?
Oh my god. So right now I'm reading A Rome of One's Own by Emma Southon, which I really
Okay.
like because it's all about like the forgotten women of Rome, because Rome was history written by men, and men didn't think women were important enough, even though a lot of this shit wouldn't happen without them.
Is it real? I know women
Yes.
are real, but is the book like
Yes.
historic? Okay.
Well, okay. So actually, that's something I've been thinking about, is because like across all the historians, there's like a distinct lack of women. And these are the women who have like more than are like if I were to read Livy and there's like one line about some random woman, she might not be in like Tacitus's stuff. But like these are the women who like come up constantly.
Yeah.
But even then, there's like debate, because there's one. Sorry, I'm gonna tangent. There's one
No, this is
woman named
good.
Claudia, who she was the subject of both a lot of Cicero's writing and Catullus's writing. But Catullus is famous for his love poems where he calls his lover toxic, whatever, I don't know, lesbia.
Oh.
And yeah. There were also this, because Romans were weird, Claudia had 2 other sisters also named Claudia. So they all like kind of describe a similar woman, but it's like no one can like 100% know for sure.
Right.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. I really like it. I think it's cool. I like her work.
That's good.
Shout out.
If you were just, I imagine being a historian and if you just have a little bit of misogyny in you and it's a little bit complicated to figure out who's who, you'd immediately give up. So shout out to the historians doing the work and figuring out
Yes.
these people exist.
Also, like, Livy is consistently cited. All the research I've done is amateur. I'm not a professional.
This
But
is historical
Livy,
advice.
This is historical advice. Is my favorite and least favorite historian because he's just a fucking moron. He didn't write like a history novel, or he wrote like a book. He wrote a fiction novel instead of a historical account of Rome. And that's obvious based on like how he talks about certain things, the fact that he was never in the military or the Senate, and the fact that people he wrote about who were alive went, "Hey man, no." He also he wrote like 137 chapters of
Wrap
the
it
history
up.
of Rome. A lot of them are lost to time.
Okay.
About 12 of them are dedicated to the Bacchanalia, which is kind of crazy because the Bacchanalia does not take up that much space in the history of Rome.
And what is that?
So it is the cult of Bacchus, the Roman equivalent to Dionysus, or the god of wine.
Figured.
They're most known for the Euripides play, The Bacchae. Also, The Secret History, if you've read that, but like...
Donna Tartt?
Donna Tartt, love her. Oh,
Shout
Peter
out.
started reading The Secret History, and I'm so excited.
That's
Anyways,
a great boyfriend
no,
move. Shout out.
he couldn't sleep the other night, and he picked up The Secret History, and I told him, why the hell would you do that? Because it got good, and then he just didn't go to sleep. He read
That's
the
good.
book. I was like, okay. So, anyways, the Bacchanalia. It was a celebration of Bacchus. Traditionally, pardon my French, is just a big orgy. Wine, drugs, food, big celebration.
Yeah.
In the Bacchae, the play, they talk about it being only for women, where they lure young men in and then rip them apart and kill them. That has been the belief widely, and it was said to take place either like 3 times a month or 5 times, which is a lot of death and a lot
It's a
of
decent amount.
people. Yeah, just a lot. But there's I don't know how much evidence there is to really back that up. I
Yeah.
just think it was women and poor people who weren't able to participate in daily religious rites and activities, because religious life was the only outlet women had. I think that's just this is a way that they did, and also it was taboo for women to drink wine. So this is their way to celebrate and be a part of religious activities and participate in festivities. That just got shit over by traditionalists, but you can trace it all the way back to the Romans.
That's great. I bet these same people kind of shitting on the role that have a Roman statue profile picture on Twitter.
Yeah,
It's we must return to the great architecture and beliefs of the Romans. What about the women?
No,
well,
we should not return to them. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to know about my running? I'm a runner. I'm a track star.
Yes.
And my experiences. Okay. Because low-key, this happened today too, but I wasn't
Okay.
running this time. Except I ran at the coffee shop I was in.
You
So,
ran.
I ran.
Okay.
I went to get coffee, read my book, and I'm sitting there. There are these 2 women, and they have little name tags. And I look at the name tags, and I go, "Oh my god, are they missionaries? Are they? What is this?" And then so there's me. I'm in the corner. There are these 2 women, and then there's one woman just across from them on these couches reading a book. They start talking to her, and it's so fake, and it's so obviously fake. And I'm sitting there going, "Oh god, no." And then she goes, "Well, here's our card. We would love it if you joined our church." And so they start talking about Jesus and how she goes, "I found Jesus in this." And I went, "No." I picked up my stuff and I ran out of the coffee shop. And then they left 5 seconds after me. And then
all
we
of
both
them?
were leaving. No, just
Okay.
the 2 women, the 2 missionary women. And they opened with, "Well, we're missionaries." And so the car in front of me, we're both making a left turn. We both end up at the library. And
Just happenstance, by the way. Definitely not
literally,
followed there.
I didn't know. I was trying to go to the library, and then they were there. And it was great. So I go hide in the corner, and then I see them walk, I guess, to the far corner, and I leave.
Aw.
I was not dealing with it. No, because, and I had to explain this today because I didn't want to entertain. I don't care. Sure, it would be nice, but this happens all the time to me in Texas, where there's this church that all across North Lamar, big it's all downtown. I run downtown, so I drive down there, and
With the buildings and shit, the city.
there's the park is right next to it, or Zilker is right over there, so downtown area.
Okay.
So I go around over there, and I drive back on North Lamar. At every stoplight, there are these people who will walk in between all the cars and throughout the on the street in a highway adjacent area, and knock on your window and ask for money and you to go to their church. And I get freaked out because I've had, like, they yell at me.
Oh.
Like, I don't ever roll down my window because I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. No.
Yeah.
And so the other day I was running and I got like heat exhaustion. I was really tired and I was trying to like just go home. I get in my car, going back. This man, I'm like, no. He tries to come up to me. I look at him and I like shake my head. I'm like, no. He goes, oh, come on. This starts screaming at me for like 3 minutes through my window. And I'm like, dude.
Damn, 3 minutes. That's
I know. I was like, this is the most unchristian shit I can think of. And this same man the week before was there, but I was with Peter.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at Peter and I went, you're handling this. Like, I'm not doing it. And Peter like looked at the guy and said no, and he walked away. But as soon as I'm alone, this is also not the first time they've done this. And I need to find out what church this is so I can give them a call and be like, hey guys.
Can I join?
Yeah, can I join your
Yeah.
women's Bible study? Please.
Can you be like a card-carrying member of the church? So like you join and get a card, and you don't go. Maybe you donate like $5 a month or whatever just to keep the card. So next time these people come, this is me thinking. This is actually how the church can make a lot of money. Next time the people come and knock on your door, you flash the card like an FBI, except better because it's religious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. True. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how content
Yeah,
brain I'm feeling.
Yeah, look
Maybe
into
I'll-
that.
Right. Maybe I'll start a fight on the phone. Maybe I'll ask them if I can join their church. Who
Yeah,
knows?
if you are making phone calls, please record them.
Of course.
Because
That's legal.
well, I care
Yeah.
about you as sure. I almost said Romeo Juliet laws. That's not the one. One party consent states in the context of recording. Sure. Yeah, because as much as I care about your safety and as a friend, at the beginning, harkening back to the beginning of this podcast, I also care about content a lot more than morals and anything. So
Yeah.
while you're at the light, record them. While you're on the phone, record them. And
Okay.
inquire about that totally normal, insane, and definitely real idea about being a card-carrying member. I think that's the
Beautiful.
move. Yeah.
Of course, I can do that. Anyways, that's all. That's my news.
We've had busy weeks. The world has also
The
had
world.
an interesting, just a shitty segue there. The
Yeah, no.
world.
The world.
we got some news to cover as always.
Of course.
We got some Trump updates if you want to go into this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I was like actively driving to Peter's house, and when I stop, I see like a slew. Like I'm at his house, I see a slew of Twitter notifications about a Trump Twitter space with Elon Musk, and I freak out because I'm missing the hard news. I'm in my car and I can't listen. Even though like I think Peter and I would have enjoyed that in my car, but also no. It was so bad when I listened to it later. It was so
Yeah.
bad. Also, I think they almost broke Twitter.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that
Yeah.
it took over Twitter by storm, and by that I mean it broke the website. And not in like a popular like, oh my god, so many people. Twitter just can't fucking handle this shit. It's not. They're such a bad platform because Elon Musk on like his second day fired like every engineer that worked there.
Yes, which is crazy. And so now they can't handle that, or like a Twitter, which is
Yeah.
insane. Oh my god, there was a moment where they were talking about like nuclear power, and like you
Oh,
can
yeah.
just hear like Elon's like going on and on, but he's like, I'm a liberal, I'm a moderate, and then he starts talking about like how he ate a vegetable from like Hiroshima.
Okay.
And then Trump is like not interested. He doesn't care. He's like, you're discrediting me, and it's just.
I do love that
was
Trump
so
is
bad.
a fake friend to Elon Musk because, like, just like 4 episodes ago or something, I read like a truth of not a tweet, a truth, but Trump is now back on Twitter, which we'll talk about, of Trump going into Elon Musk and being like, your cars suck, your rockets blow up, everything you do is shit. You get on your knees and beg for me like a little beggar boy, and now he's like, you give me a lot of money, so I guess you're cool now, which I kind of respect
Yeah.
because he's all about the money machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a definite attempt at damage control, but also like they failed so miserably.
It was not a good space, and like I for context, I watched like 30 minutes or listened to 30 minutes of it, and I was like, there's no real substance here. And of course, Trump doesn't really have the substance, but at least in the past, he had the sauce. There's a clear difference between sauce and substance.
Yeah.
Trump is now sauceless. He is depressed, but I think this Twitter space was the perfect encapsulation of his campaign and what Twitter has become. Or excuse me, I keep saying X, the everything app, which can't do everything and can't do one thing right because it breaks. Because the space begins, nobody can get in. Elon Musk claims it's a DDoS attack, which sure, this same thing didn't happen a year ago with Ron DeSantis kicking off his presidential campaign on Twitter, and it just going horribly. So they decided to go for round 2 to prove that Twitter Spaces is truly a democratic platform, whatever they rebranded it to, I don't know. And it breaks immediately. And Trump also has a lisp the entire time.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? Did you?
Not
I don't
until
know.
It was pointed out to me.
Yeah.
I know when I was watching reacts to it later, because it literally could have just been an audio thing and I didn't notice. But when it was pointed out, it's oh, he's gonna flip on that.
I don't know if it's his age or the fucking PTSD, which I think he has, and we could talk about in a bit from this assassination attempt. But I kind of want to go on a little tangent about Twitter because it is so it irks me so much because I mean the space it's not persuading anyone. No one is voting off of this Twitter space.
That's sorry. I'm not kidding.
No.
I'm cutting you off. Haha. So when I had said that this was damaging, because no normie is on Twitter.
No.
No one is listening to that. You need a normie or get your normal ass voters and not your weirdo Reddit neck bearded people off of X or whatever. So it was incredibly stupid, but whatever.
No, that's exactly the fucking thing because if this was maybe 5 years ago or even 3 years ago, this could have been kind of a fun, kind of new thing where it's and yes, of course, Trump is Trump. But a politician engaging on Twitter and shit, when Wendy's was popping off with their we're roasting or whatever, and it was cringe, but it was okay, this is Twitter is a thing, it's something. It reminded me of in 2012 when YouTube was kind of cementing itself in the mainstream media, and they were connecting with news networks like NBC or something, and I think they were hosting presidential debates. YouTubers would ask questions to candidates, and it was a very of the time thing, and it was just a merging of mainstream news and politics, and then this internet thing. And an example of that is Twitter was in the background that entire time, and Twitter was not X, Twitter, and they had Barack Obama read mean tweets or whatever, and it was a thing. There were segments on Jimmy Fallon and shit of the tweets of the week. However cringe it was something. It had an identity. It was a thing. And having that brand, having Twitter as a brand, and in the mainstream, it being used in the mainstream media as a tool, I was trying to get out my thoughts on this because the Trump space it pointed out how shitty this website has gone. And it wasn't great, even immediately preceding Elon buying it. But Elon has turned this identifiable thing, however cringe it can be, but creative platform. It wasn't the biggest. 20%, I think Hassan pointed out 20% of people in America used it at some point. So it wasn't the biggest, but it was definitely something.
Right.
Elon has turned it into this racist, Nazi, Groyper shit. Like you were saying, that no normal person is on it. I don't know what you're doing. It's it's mind-blowing, and I've been on the internet for my entire life. It is mind-blowing how casually you can just come across the most vile shit. And you could, and before you could go into the most darkest corners of the internet and see this, but to be on a main platform, it boggles my mind truly. And Trump going on there just kind of cements it as this is what it is now. It's bullshit. It's nothing.
Twitter was never professional. Social media is not professional, but Twitch streamers use it. Oh, I'm live. Let's go see it. Politicians would, I guess, as you said, use it as a way to connect with the people. All of our professors are on Twitter. I've had my old acting coaches on Twitter, and it's just now it feels this is a little out there, but whatever. You know how Kick is such like a horrible website?
Yeah.
It's like Kick, but like instead of live streaming, you just like you text you type your little thoughts.
That's a perfect thing. It's these same people who are on Kick, who are streaming on Kick, who are consuming Kick, not like me, who watches XQC for the gambling streams, but people who are really in it are on Twitter or are on X, this shit. And it's like, yeah, it was a thing that people used. And yes, people still use it now, but like the For You page is...
It's awful.
It's awful, and it's like the most right-wing shit, and then in between the right-wing shit, it's like, you know, those verified Twitter accounts, like that Kira person who posts like a half-naked picture of Sydney Sweeney, and the caption is like, damn, Sydney Sweeney, damn, Megan the Stallion. Just like engagement for me. It's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Why do I scroll and see porn? Why do I scroll and see these popular actresses in like compromising positions, and I'd be like, damn, I didn't know Billie Eilish was this bad, in between fucking like Hitler wasn't a bad guy. It's like, what are you doing? What is this platform?
I get a bunch of news updates, and like it's always like the breaking report, whatever, but like when I'm in New York, I get the ones for Austin, and I always I click whatever it's like NYPD APD. I like scroll into the comments, and it's always like, this is socialism, and it's just like the most like wild alt-right stuff, and I don't get how we got there, because like it'll be like local news too, where or like what county I'm in, and just like the most random, just like hateful stuff that's so unrelated that I'm like, how, guys? What?
It's also like half AI generated, or like half just run by bots and some shit, and like even if the account itself isn't a bot, I have a feeling that like 90% of these giant kind of engagement farming shit is like the algorithm. It's trying to like match the algorithm, or sometimes it's like Elon Musk, like the source code got leaked like several times of Elon Musk like going into these individual accounts that's has a name not like this, but like I love Hitler or something. Not saying he has done that, but of the type. That's the kind of vibe that we're going for, where it's like, yeah, the rules don't apply to this account. Like this account, the rules don't apply. And now it's like, I don't think there are any rules. It's like, what has this platform become? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. I have like a lesser example of that, where like I had a second Twitter account that I don't use anymore, but I posted like something about an essay I was writing, and I immediately got a bot that was like, I can write your essay for you.
Oh yeah.
Underneath, and I was like, okay, sure, queen, write my essay.
Because Twitter has always had like something with bots. Like it was, I mean, maybe not in the very, very beginning.
I mean, all social media has something, but Twitter is much worse.
Yeah. So it's always been like kind of hovering. And like, I remember, I'm not doxing myself, but I used to have this blog when I was in middle school about this game that I really liked, and I'll share it one day. But I figured out, like, I accidentally had a tweet that included the word like real estate or something, and I got like 50 follows from all these bot real estate accounts. So if I figured that out in middle school, however long ago that was, however many years before Elon bought Twitter, now that Elon's in charge, take that times like 500, and then take the content that's on the site and remove like all the genuine like creators, if you can call them that, because it's a bullshit job being an influencer, but all like the posters and like weird Twitter and shit, it's like decimated. And yeah, I don't know, this Trump space really flipped a nerve for me or whatever, or struck a nerve, because just the comments and the fact that it exists and the fact that Elon Musk is in charge, I think it's like the death of the internet to some degree, and the death of like modern internet culture and partially pop culture as well. It's like maybe I'm just so online that I can't like remove myself from this, but I don't know. It's very frustrating, and yeah, and Trump is back on Twitter too. So
so cool, so great that he's on Twitter. Yay!
Yeah. Did you see the AI generated image that video that he posted?
Did, and then I went, that's enough brain rot for today.
Yep. This goes to prove that Trump has lost the sauce, because he's a true business magnate, and that once he created Truth Social, or once he got banned and then he created a whole new social media platform, that like is worth a bunch of money now apparently. He like never posted on Twitter again.
Yeah.
And then he got unbanned, and he posted once his mugshot, and that was it. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, get in there, farm your clout a little bit, and then fuck off back to your own website that you created and make money on. And now I guess like whatever Gen Z Redditor 4chaner is running his campaign is like, let's post the most dog shit things we can on Twitter, and maybe we'll win. And his heart isn't in it.
Yeah, which, again, the average person is not on Twitter.
Yeah.
The average person is not chronically online.
Yeah.
When, like, my normie parents see that, they're gonna go, what the fuck? And move on with their day.
No, and it's especially worse now because, like, at least when I would talk to family members in the past, they would mention Twitter. Like, it would come up in conversation as, like, they're not on it, and they kind of understand it, but it's, like, a thing. Nobody's mentioning X, the everything platform. It's like, but you've destroyed it, and it's never coming back. But that's all I had to say about Twitter.
Biden actually did something that was impossible. Both sides hate him, both sides. Yeah. That was a hard thing to do, unification.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I don't know. And Trump on it, who has PTSD, which we can get into a little.
Let's go to that, because I'm really interested. And that article you sent was very reminiscent, or his attitude about the shooting is very, it reminded me of his White House attendants report of him during the January 6th attacks, or riot on the Capitol.
What was that?
Well, he was like glued to the screen. He like couldn't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like just staring at it. Yeah.
This article from the Daily Beast titled, Trump keeps watching clip of himself being shot at. May legit have PTSD. So sources are claiming, who are close to the president, that he might have PTSD because he keeps watching this clip of him getting shot and nearly dying over and over and over again. And you can see it and hear it in his like speeches, which he's rarely doing now. I think he's live right now, but he's so low energy, and he's like, he mentions the assassination or attempted thing briefly, and he'd be like, oh, I love that graph saved my life. When I looked over, it saved my life. But he's like sad. He's genuinely sad. And it's like, and that compared to like, and coupled with, I don't know, fucking JD Vance is his running mate, that Groiper Redditor shit, the Aiden Ross thing, this Twitter
Kamala.
Space, and calling fucking Kamala DEI candidate, and like, I don't know, is she black? Is she Indian? Like, he's like lost it to a degree where I thought, like, however many months ago, like, oh, he's got this in the bag. It's fucking over. And this was when Biden was still in it. And like, post-assassination, post-Biden, he's fucked. And I don't know what to do. We're seeing like a psychological breakdown of a man who was on top of the world. So.
I said this a few episodes back, is he made all of the correct moves if it were Biden in the race, but everything now is like turned around to bite him in the ass.
Yeah.
And I truly think that his mind was so delulu that he was going to win this and that he had it in the bag, that he can't get out of that. And he doesn't know how to fix it because nothing is working, because he's dug the hole too deep.
Yeah. Did you, I guess you can hear, but in the Twitter space, he didn't mention Vance at all.
No.
He fucking, like, he's like in this hole, and then he's like in that article I think we read last week or whatever, where he was trying to walk back from being like Vance is the VP, and he's like, nobody really cares about the VP. And then in that Twitter space, he doesn't mention Vance at all. And Vance is going on like Fox and Friends and some bullshit, and he also took an L at a rally with like 24 people showing up. He's so far into it that it's sad, and we empathize with our true president.
Do we?
Well, listen, as a right-winger and as a right-wing podcast, anti-woke podcast, the last anti-woke podcast in the world, we must look at Trump, and we must see a man who has part of there's part of him in all of us, I think. And that's the petty, that's the theater nerd, that's this fucking hey, listen. This bullshit fucking guy who's lost the sauce. And like you were saying, he thought he was going to win with Biden. Apparently, according to this article, Trump has told people close to him that, quote, they cheated by swapping Biden, end quote. He's still on it. He loves Biden. And it's sad.
Aww.
They
They're
love
in
each other.
love.
Yeah.
Damn. It's the only part that I mean, it's kind of sad to watch it happen, like, live, but also, like, no sympathy for that man.
Yeah, I don't have
No. Yeah, the, like, watching the mental deterioration is never pleasant, but also, like, fuck Trump.
Yeah, it's
Like,
just
bitch.
it is interesting to see a person who was fucking killing debates, for better or worse, because he fucking
worse.
got popular, and seeing this person who's just had this fucking electric presence to him.
Right.
I'm not glazing Trump. I'm saying the objective thing. He's a horrible person, but he had this way about him that he doesn't anymore. He's lost it, and he's depressed, and he's sad because he almost got assassinated, and I don't think he wants to be president anymore. So,
No.
L. Trump, I'm sorry.
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Well, it would be really good if he fucked off, because then I mean, that would, a lot of the alt-right people they'd still be there, and they'd still be disgusting. I think maybe it'd be a little quieter. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, like, then the Republican Party is, like, scrambling, because I don't think Ron DeSantis is as popular as he'd like to think he is. All the, like, J.D. Vance, no one likes him.
No.
Like, all these people that are propped up, like, they don't have a leader. Like, did you ever watch, like, the, when Kevin McCarthy was being, like, elected or selected to be, like, the majority?
Oh, my God, yeah.
House leader, right? Not the majority whip, I don't remember.
Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the House, yeah, thank you. There's so many different titles, oh my God. But, like, they don't have, like, they without Trump, they are a scrambling party.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The Kevin McCarthy show, I totally forgot about that. So, like, L after L after L after L, losing the vote so many times. Did you see that picture of his face when he, like, lost for, like, the fourth time or whatever? He's like, oh, my God. Nobody cares.
Yes.
Nobody likes
no.
him. And, yeah, without Trump, they're kind of fucked. So I'm excited to see, not to jinx it, when Trump loses. But we'll see what the Republican Party is like.
Yes.
But that was that.
That was that.
That was that after Trump.
Oof. Okay, what is this RFK meeting? And should we take it seriously?
We should not take it seriously, but it's funny. And I'm not going to make fun of a future guest of the podcast because surely he's coming on Truly Orwellian.
Surely.
We're going to have him on. We're going to have him on.
I need a shirt, RFK. I need a shirt.
Come on the pod. Come into my studio apartment. Come. And we'll have a great episode.
Yes.
But this article, just real quick, RFK, originally he approached Trump and was like, I'll drop out. Because if you didn't know, RFK Jr. is running for president of the United States. It may seem like he's your fucking crazy uncle who's like out there and being like, I killed a bear and put it in Central Park. That guy's running for president. So he approached Trump and was like, I'll drop out if you give me like a cabinet position. And I don't think the Trump campaign responded. And then he went to Kamala and was like, I'll drop out and endorse you if you give me a position in like a cabinet position or something. And a source to this article from CBS News says, from the Kamala campaign, no one has any intention of negotiating with a MAGA-funded fringe candidate who has sought out a job with Donald Trump in exchange for an endorsement, the source said. They don't care, and RFK is kind of scrambling, but he might also fuck up the election because of how much traction he's getting.
Yeah.
But
I love an Al Gore moment.
We love an Al Gore moment.
Okay, correct me. Weren't the Kennedys Democrats?
The Kennedys were Democrats.
What
They
is
were.
he doing?
He is he's what happens when your dad gets assassinated and your uncle gets assassinated, and your uncle was the president and he died, and your father was running for the president, and as he was gonna be the president, almost like the Democratic nominee, he gets assassinated, and now he's fucking conspiracy pilled up. He's losing his mind, and he kind of coasted on the Kennedy name. I don't know what he did before. I think probably media or some shit.
Probably.
And yeah, now he's like just a multimillionaire, and he's not a Republican. He's an independent, which is so important because there's definitely a difference in Ronald Kennedy's case. Not Ronald, Robert. Whatever his fucking name is. Come on the podcast.
Yeah. I actually don't know any of this man's policies, and I'm okay with that. I want to find out later.
I would stick that way.
Cool.
Maybe after he loses, or wins.
I'm only I'm saving it for when those people are back on my like running when I'm at poker and I'm running and they have the table and they have the shirts, so I can be like, hey, I actually don't know anything about your campaign. Please tell me more.
Yes.
So, but I'm waiting.
Those always lead to great interactions.
I am.
You know.
Yeah. I will do it when there are a lot of people there.
Or
oh my God.
when you're alone. That'd be
Yes.
kind of cool.
Sure.
Again, content,
right? I'll remember to record.
Record. That's what I should have recorded on our very first episode. I mentioned this pedophile supporting candidate
Dog,
who I
think
ran
about
into.
that all the time. I think about that all the time.
I still get emails from her, and I hope she's doing well.
That's crazy.
But yeah, the Kennedy campaign. It's so cool how his last name is Kennedy, and he's literally a Kennedy, a successful political dynasty, ending with RFK.
Yeah.
But that was it. That's basically politics. Not politics. We got some more, but you have a story that I want you to share.
Holy shit.
So
I've
bad.
been sucked down the rabbit hole of Mr. Beast and the scandal. The literal
Let's go.
crimes that are happening. Okay, alleged.
Alleged Jimmy
Video
Beast,
game.
don't sue us.
Please.
Yeah.
So there's two different things. There are the Beast games, and then there's this comedian, Jake Weddle, who, so this guy, Dogpack, has been making videos on this and, like, debunking how, like, the videos are fake, how there were lottery scams, and how Mr. Beast forged his signature on, like, a ton of, or, like, had his, employees forge his signature on, like, hoodies. And, like, I said fake lotteries, right?
I think so.
I think so. Okay, yeah. So Jake Weddle was like an off and on. He was early Beast videos. He was like in this creator studios.
It's like AD and BC, but
yeah,
the B is Beast and
Beast.
It's AB. So
yeah. So he was in. He got called to be in this 30-day isolation challenge, which they literally tortured him.
Yeah, I've heard some things. I didn't look too much into it.
So they left the lights on in the room and, like, wouldn't turn them off. He wasn't allowed to see the sun. He wasn't, like, given, like, or he was, I don't know if he was given, like, human rights weren't there. No, there wasn't. Basic necessities, not really.
Yeah.
But when they left the lights on, that's when it became a violation of like an international crime.
The Geneva Conventions do not apply to Jimmy Beast.
No. And they had like this ice cream machine in there that the smell, it like haunted this poor guy, where like the smell of like milk rotting. And they made him run a marathon. And he's not a runner. And so they put him on this treadmill and they said, like, run the marathon by the time I get back. And then his feet were like bleeding and blistered. And he also didn't have a clock. He didn't have any windows. The part that I found, like, all of it's horrifying. All of it's horrifying. But there's one part that I went, oh my God. Because they're trying to make him, like, produce content because they wouldn't let him out. They wouldn't let him leave.
Yeah.
Which is alleged kidnapping. Allegedly, in a video game.
We'll see.
Well. And so he is doing bits. Because he's a comedian. Jake Whittle's a comedian.
Yeah.
And he's doing bits in this room by himself. he's trying to be funny. But when someone on the producing team watched the footage back, they were like, are you okay? Because this footage is horrifying.
Yeah.
It's like haunting.
Yeah.
And oh my God, they had to scrub it. Like, it was, they should have never done that in the first place. Because obviously Mr. Beast videos are faked if you just like fucking watch them, but they didn't fake this one. And then they're like, oh, with this footage, like, now it's unusable because you're scary.
Right.
So that's part of it. And
I'm just imagining a 9-year-old, me, by the way, I'm 9, like, who sees all this shit about Mr. Beast faking videos, and then they point to this guy being tortured, and he's like, see, fucking told you, Jimmy Beast is clean. He doesn't fake his videos. He's A-okay. And it's like, hey, man, you're ignoring the torture.
That's so. Oh my gosh, the rest of it, they hired a convicted child sex offender. Yeah, and he's like a part of the producing team for videos that are made for children. Right. That's uncomfortable.
That is uncomfortable. I wonder what the thinking was there.
I don't. Like,
what's the both sides of this kind of what's the argument here that Beast is making?
The crazy thing is, like, Jimmy's mom is the one to fire people, and that like she was in the interview with this guy.
Dude, I think the fucking Beast family, I don't know his last, it's Donaldson.
Donaldson,
I knew it.
Yeah.
What a crazy family. And what is the mom thinking? As her son is like a sociopath, by the way.
Well,
allegedly.
she's like doing it too.
But did she
Like,
get sociopath
interviewed
pilled?
this guy, like the predator, and then
Yeah.
they hired him. And then this is like later in the in it, because like I watched some videos where they have like access to the employee handbook, and also like we'll get to the Beast game, but in the employee handbook, like after talking to former employees and current employees, they're like, yeah, it's not Jimmy who fires you, it's the mom.
Oof, that's an interesting power dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Yeah, because I saw all this shit popping off, and I watched the first dog wolf pack video, and I was like, oh damn, this is kind of crazy. And like the lottery the lottery shit was wild. And then I started watching the second one, and I like got to the point where Weddle, Jake, that guy's name, was talking about his experience, and he started crying, and I was like, I need to dedicate more time to this video. And then we had the podcast. So I'm very glad I'm getting this information. And then I also saw like that employee handbook thing. Like, did you look more into that? Because I heard one line in it where it was like talking about like no doesn't mean no or some shit. Yeah.
So that's like the worst part of it, is because also allegedly they covered up a lot of sexual assault things.
Oh damn.
In the workplace, allegedly.
Okay.
And so, which is a great way to, let's have a boys club. So,
oh yeah.
But in it, they so that's particular part. They're talking about like, oh, keep if you like, you need to go to like a Dollar Tree for video, and they say no, you keep harassing them until they say yes, and you keep harassing other stores until they say yes, which is putting people's jobs at risk at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like other parts in it where Jimmy's like, there's A players, B players, and C players when he's talking about like hiring people. And he's like, C players are unacceptable. They are lazy. They don't do whatever. And it's like they just have a healthy work-life balance.
Yeah.
And he's like, B players they go home. B players are trainable A players, and A players are dedicated. They take criticism, blah, blah, blah. We only have A players here. And if you don't take our criticism well, you're not going to get into more videos, and you're going to be fired. And if you're not, there's like a part where he goes, if you're not working on multiple videos at once, like, you're going to be fired. And they write in it, pull all-nighters weeks in advance instead of, so you don't have to pull them the week of the shoot.
Okay, that's good that they're budgeting in time for all-nighters. And they're smart about it.
Which is, don't you have a production team? What?
Yeah.
To do this. And there's this, like, on that note, there's a part where, like, if you're given this, like, the task to get a Lamborghini wrapped in an anime character and something else, that's your task. You don't let anything stop you. You don't help out with other people because you have to get this task done. You don't, if the studio is burning down, you get this task done.
Wait, is it written like this?
Yes.
Like it's actually like...
It's written like first off, it's so informal.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I'm like
I'm not kidding on a lot
Yeah.
of this. Like, it's written like how I would write to my friends.
Yeah.
And
because you
over
tell
my-
your friends
Right.
to do these
yeah, because
tasks
no.
at all cost.
Well, 'cause,
You
like,
assign them work.
At one point, he goes in parentheses. He writes jokes, haha, and I'm like, what?
Bro, the HR team that took over when he gets when he gets big. being
They're
like,
getting an HR team right now. Like
they don't have one?
They don't have one, which is crazy because Beast Games, I hadn't
Oh,
heard
yeah.
of this. And so it's in conjunction with Amazon ?
I think
believe
so, yeah.
And they skated around so many fucking laws, which is crazy because like actors and like TV stuff or like this type of art, like they don't take that shit lightly.
Yeah. I mean, there's also
they
like
are all
unions
union.
involved.
They
and-
are
yeah.
all unionized because like it's so easy to take advantage of these people,
Yeah.
especially like tech workers.
Oh,
He
yeah.
specifically hired production people that were non-union, which is so cool. And I was watching this video where this woman she had talked to people who were in Beast Games, and she was reading a New York Times article where the author had also talked to a bunch of people who were currently in Beast Games and left, but all
Yeah.
of them are all these people have to be anonymous because they all signed NDAs.
That's great.
And yeah, they were lied to. They were told it's going to just be 1,000 people. Turns out it's 2,000 people.
Oh my god.
There's like reports from the local hospital about how like chaotic and horrible the injuries people are receiving.
Yeah.
They don't have access to medications, change of garments, feminine products. They are not really fed, and they aren't being given if they have like dietary restrictions. No, they don't. They are given
Nah,
the
bro.
same food as everyone else. And they're also like, these are physical tasks. They're given like cold oatmeal,
Ew.
which you need
Just-
protein.
Yeah, that's not. I don't think that's hitting all the food groups. I
No.
the My Plate shit in elementary school and the food pyramid before that. Yeah, Beast is not. Jimmy
No.
Beast is not
Jimmy?
covering this.
No. And yeah, he's just insane. And
Can I just say that I am very glad that he's finally getting his thing, and obviously justice to all the people involved here. On a worse note, I don't like him, and I've never liked him as a person. So I don't know what happens from here. And of course, like I watched a fucking Ludwig, 'cause I'm a Ludbud, and
Bud.
yeah, and he was like, he had an event sponsored by him, and then he pulled out. And Ludwig pointed out that like he uploaded a video that had like 100 million views and like positive comments and shit. So it's like, I want to say he's almost like too big to fail,
He
but
kinda-
I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that
Yeah.
like legal shit gets involved and like finally fucking topples this empire, because it's like his rise to success was like incredibly fast, and like yeah, people were like, oh, he worked fucking hard for it or whatever, but it's scary that someone like that can get that much power. And also him as a person, like I've watched a lot of interviews of him because, and I don't really watch his content at all. I see if it's like a video that gets like 400, like, you know, that Squid Game shit. I think that was
Yeah.
like the last big video I watched of his. I watched these interviews with him, and I think his, like, I don't think he's fully there as a person. I think, like, he kind of has the mentality that, like, when I was 13 and was like, I want to be a billionaire. Like, he has that mentality, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be, like, you know, wanting success and wanting to have money and, you know, succeed in a hyper-capitalistic world, because we all, at some point, are striving to do that. But the way that he's going about it and like there was an office tour of his where he had like, you know, all these quotes of fucking Steve Jobs up on the wall and Albert Einstein, and I'm like, yeah, I like watched that YouTuber like Casey Neistat when he was doing daily vlogs in like 2015, and I was like, oh holy shit, this guy is like, you just need to hustle. It's hustle culture. Really need to do this. And then I'm like, you get a little bit older, and I don't know how old Mr. Beast is, but old enough to kind of have the time and money to step back and be like, maybe success at all costs isn't the vibe. Maybe I could, you know, have a relationship, be healthy, enjoy my life, still run a company, sure, and create content, sure, but do it in a way that's like, you know, it doesn't have to be this fucking empire that you want it to be. It can be a sustainable business and a happy, fulfilling thing. But if you're like literally almost like, if you're torturing people literally, then you've lost the plot, brother. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah.
What I think is super gross, I mean, obviously all of this is disgusting.
Yeah.
With Beast Games in particular, is like a lot of people are like staying because like it's a $5 million prize and they need that kind of money.
Yeah.
And that's so disgusting to hold that over people's heads. And someone described it as like a Hunger Games scenario.
Oh yeah.
Is what they were living with, because they also described like it was quickly found out to be not an equal playing field for everybody, and so the men who are super strong started to attack other players.
Yeah.
And a lot of women and like older people got incredibly injured from the way people were like tackling them and like hurting them, like everybody. And that's just, I just think of like Jimmy like standing there looking down watching these people like brutalize one another, and it's awful. And just, I don't understand how you can have a complete disregard for human rights and life,
like actual human rights,
like actually
like legal human rights.
Like watching Jake Weddle in like that room he must have been in, like that's Jake Weddle kept saying in his videos that people on set were looking out for him and were like, hey, we should pull the plug on this, he's not okay, like we need to get him out of here, like this isn't okay. But Mr. Beast Jimmy wasn't listening, and I don't get how you can watch this guy who's suffering severely and just like laugh at him.
There's definitely, and people were clowning on like this one photo of him being like, oh shit, he's the antichrist, and I'm like, I believe it. I see it. This man has no life behind his eyes. And it's like, the like childish shit pisses me off, like the childish mentality that he has towards like, oh, I want to be like Steve Jobs, famously a great person, by the way. Definitely a wonderful company that he ran, and definitely didn't die from a very curable form of cancer because he didn't want to take his medicine and he wanted to eat apples and do yoga. But besides the point, having that as your hero and then being the most insane, like running the most insane company at the most insane, like having the most insane practices, you know, that fucking joke of a document that he wrote and having his mom like fire people.
In that document, they talk about how like the main talent, like Nolan, fucking Carl and all those people,
Carl Jacobs,
where if they're doing something stupid, you don't interfere, you let them be stupid unless it could cause danger and they don't understand the consequences. But otherwise, if they're drawing dicks on the whiteboard, let them do that.
Yeah,
that's in the document.
This is quite a boys' club, and like, oh, let me work with my friends and shit. And it's like, sure, you can have a YouTube channel with your friends and make like dumb content, but the fact that you wanted to grow it into this fucking empire that it is now, and you have to hire people and shit. When you hire people, you gotta like include them in a way that doesn't destroy their lives. And then because it's gotten to this point and he's hired all these people and he's made all this money, or he's made all these videos, and then the views keep coming and the views keep coming, and then he's making a ton of money, and then fucking Amazon for like $100 million is partnering with the show, and then the show is the Hunger Games. I hope, like, to God, that legal bullshit is just gonna be insurmountable for him, and it's gonna have to be like irreconcilable for the company, and like they're gonna have to address everything.
Yes, because like this normally wouldn't hurt someone of his size.
Oh yeah.
I hope it does. And also, this is supposed to be like a Squid Games type thing, and this is like the second or third or whatever Squid Games-esque video he's done. And I don't know if you've seen Squid Games.
Haven't seen it, but I've seen the real Squid Games, which is Jimmy Beast's video.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Squid Games, it's incredibly dystopian. It's very disturbing. It's also, I recommend watching it. I don't entirely understand how his obsession with it.
Yeah.
Because like that's not a good thing to be obsessed with. For the wrong reasons, it looks like, too.
That's actually a very good point, because people like love Squid Games because it's like, oh my god, this is crazy, and like as a piece of art,
right?
Like a fictional piece of art, it's like this was great, you know, it's awesome.
It was well made. The actors were great. It was an interesting concept.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take away from the fact that it's disturbing.
Yeah.
It's horrific to watch people die like that on screen.
Yeah.
It was
but like,
scary to think about.
Yeah, it's scary to think about, and like that shit, like, oh, it makes it like compelling, like stomach turning content, and it's like you watch it in this bubble, and it's like, wow, great piece of content. Okay, on to the next part of my life. So you're right. Something fucking clicked for Jimmy Beast, and it's like, oh my god, I can do this. I can make money from it. And it's like, okay,
just whoa, that's terrifying. So that was the Mr. Beast stuff.
Yeah. Just one more thing on Jimmy Beast, because I watched this interview with Colin and Samir, who I like generally. I think they're interesting people, but they love Jimmy Beast. And he was talking about the show, and I'm pretty sure Jimmy was like, because they were asking like, aren't there a lot of like, you know, hurdles that you have to overcome with the show? And I think he was like, Amazon basically gave me free reign, and I think Colin and Samir were like, are you like using, you know, the television people and, you know, the crews and shit? And he was like, no, we're bringing in like all our own people. We're doing it like, it's basically like our YouTube video, but just bigger, and we're doing it with like our people. And I'm like, that's scary. You use the professionals, but no.
No.
Jimmy Beast is his own creature.
That's Jake Weddle in his video calls out to like all the bigger creators, because it's being mostly ignored, except for Ludwig, and Hassan did like an okay reaction to it.
I watched some edited.
I think I sent it to
down
you.
Of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where like at the maybe we should take it a little more seriously, but those are the only people I've seen like or that have massive followings like talk about it. Or like more popular YouTubers, because obviously other people are talking about it with decent followings.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a wild situation, and interested to see how it plays out.
Mm-hmm.
We could basically wrap up. I did want to mention, timing-wise, we're recording on Thursday, August 15th. By the time this goes out, heads up to everyone in case you're, you know, this is your only news source, which it should be. Truly Orwellian News Network is basically what we should rebrand as. We may be in World War III. Iran may have already retaliated against Israel. We may be sending troops. It may be a whole thing. And this is coming after. This is not the reason, but just a little cherry on top of this is that the U.S. approves $20 billion in weapon sales to Israel amid threat of wider Middle East war. So things are shaping up great. And I'm going to dodge the draft once more.
Woo! I love this world that we are living in so much.
It's great. We're going to have some positive news stories on here one day. Maybe.
You know, yeah.
Maybe.
Be like, puppy saved in New York.
Yeah. I mean, the Vance rally only having like 12 people at it is pretty good.
Funny.
That's a funny one.
I'm excited to watch the vice presidential debate. But that's just me.
When is that? That's coming
October
up,
1st.
Right? Damn. Watch party. Let's fucking do it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. This is going to be great.
Yeah. I can't take it seriously. Like,
No.
no.
I'm interested to see Walz in a more like defensive position
Yeah.
instead of, like just on the campaign trail, which he's been doing well at.
Yeah.
So to see him
I
actually
mean-
butt heads.
I don't know how hard it'll be because I can't see it going well for Vance. I'm not saying it's gonna go well for Walz either.
Yeah.
It might. Like, I don't know. He might surprise me. He might not. Who knows? But
Yeah.
I don't know how well Vance is gonna do.
No, I mean Vance is the fucking Redditor pick, so nobody
Yeah.
likes him, and they're the Republican, like all of the Republican Party's positions are bullshit.
Yeah.
So yeah, putting
I
him
can't
on a
wait for them
debate
to
is
talk
not
about
great.
abortion.
Yeah, the fucking one.
You'll-
Let's hope Walz doesn't pull a Joe Biden in that one debate he did, and was like, abortion is important because we need to abort immigrant babies or whatever he said.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
I would love to see Vance's face when he's arguing abortion with a man and not a woman.
Yes.
I think that might break him.
It could break him. And also, I wonder if he's going to avoid calling women, like older women, like postmenopausal femoids or whatever. Because he's basically said, I'm exaggerating a little bit.
That's
But
crazy.
he's the guy who says females unironically. He's that guy. So can't wait to see him on October 1st. We'll do a recap of it.
Yes.
Neck beard, literal neck beard.
Literal
night.
neck beard.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that was it. Did we have anything else we wanted to share?
No, that was all.
Huge.
Yeah.
Not by the time. Next week, we may have, and I mean it this time, a very interesting episode. That's all I'm going to say. I think it'll be by next week. Hopefully.
Manifest.
We got some things cooking, and stay tuned. It'll be fun, and yeah, hell yeah.
Woo.
Also rate us and follow us everywhere.
Please. I want
Yes.
to do a funny voice on the podcast.
Yeah, we've gotten the number of Spotify. I will give the listeners credit. The number of Spotify reviews have gone up, but you can't write some shit on Spotify. Write some shit on Apple Podcasts, and also rate us on Spotify. Do everything, okay?
Please.
Everything,
please.
and follow us at Truly Orwellian. Okay?
Yay.
I'm mad now. Okay?
You're
We're
mad?
ending the podcast on a mad note.
Damn.
I'm kidding. I love the listeners. Thank you for following us on TikTok and YouTube and everything. You're doing great. This is the most popular podcast in ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gang.
Gang.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.